The view from where we sit is gorgeous, even if we don't fit inside your little portrait. The big picture is enormous, so we don't even have to fit. We after it, true purpose, yeah, we have to get. We mastered it, reporting it live from Black Pew, discussing politics, the culture, and laughing at you. Cause you don't understand the viewpoint, don't mean you up by a few points. You just ain't hip to these new joints we on. The world says to follow they pitch, we set the tone, then we knock it over the fence. Oh yes, it's gone. Them haters screaming loud from the bench. They get the bat and try to copy technique, but they miss the point that I mentioned earlier. I see that you observing the way I strangle this beat. Oh yeah, I'm a murderer. Enough of me, let's get back to this gorgeous view. I hope that you enjoyed the show. Welcome to the Black Pew.
Before we begin, like, share, subscribe on the channel. Get our numbers. Help us get our numbers up. We're trying to grow so we can do this thing full time. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're going to get it going. First topic is the Coogler. If you don't know, Ryan Coogler got detained by the police. He didn't get fully arrested. He got detained by the police. He went to the bank, had his mask on, had his glasses on, and slipped the teller a note, said, I'm this person, I need this much money, and I want to be discreet. The teller then was like, I think I'm getting held up. Let me call the manager. The manager's like, oh, just call the police. And then the police come, and here we are now.
So many things are wrong here. So from what I understand, because I had looked into it a little bit, he also had a deposit slip and an ID.
Yes.
And so I heard the recording, and so
his
she
card.
said, and the card. And so what she said is she didn't check the ID or the card. She didn't check the deposit slip. All she did was decide to go to her manager, and the manager, being in the back, will call the police because she don't really know what's going on.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, but she didn't even come to check.
But
Because hold on, as a manager, if we're robbing, I'm not going to the front of
Come on,
But you can just take a glance. To
call the
even know.
police. Pause.
I'm actually out the back window. What are you talking about? It's like, hey, call the police. All right.
It's your job as the manager to be able to.
No,
go and
I
check
understand that. I don't think I would have.
Okay,
But
say, where was you at? I went home.
first of all, out the back door.
Pizza in the
I locked
oven
the
when y'all was
door
doing the
first.
news.
But I'm just like, so many things could have been. If you just would have checked the ID, asked him to pull his mask down. I mean, I think at this point his face is fairly. And the chick on the recording, she sounded black. I mean, we have
She
a
was,
tone, so
yeah.
she sounded black. You would have. And I know that you've scrolled Black Instagram. You would have recognized his face if you just would have taken a second to ask him to pull down his mask. Anything. So to just jump to conclusions without even trying. If I was him, I'd be mad too.
Was it a conclusion? Because if
Wait.
she's black, do we know she ain't just do it for clout?
Which is possible,
I mean,
too.
the thing is it's Ryan Coogler.
But she didn't check the ID. She didn't know that.
She says
I
Ryan
don't know what
Coogler is trying
I
to
would
rob
not.
the bank.
I wouldn't have recognized him.
Some people said
Right.
too, I wouldn't have recognized him because they don't, directors, if you're not Steven Spielberg and you're not into some things, that's a possibility you didn't recognize him.
Right.
I can take it.
But
I don't.
There's so much-
Hold on.
Neglect the fact that she didn't do her full job.
Yeah.
At the height of awareness that we
right.
at, at the height of awareness that we at, and the pieces that he has put out,
Yeah.
a lot of Black
Been on
America can say that they're ignorant to the fact of who he is, but that's. Come on now.
By
Let's be
face,
real.
by
Wait,
face.
hold
that's
on.
right.
I barely know who
Wait
he
a
is, but as
minute.
soon as I seen the name, I knew exactly who
Oh,
it was.
you see the name, but I'm talking about the face. You know, I wouldn't even be
But she
able to
didn't check
pick
the
him out.
ID to even-
Okay, well, no, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. All I'm
Right.
saying is, for me, she needs to lose her job.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
definitely.
Because she didn't do her job.
Because if you work at a bank, you're a teller, isn't it your job to look at the ID
One.
and look at the deposit slip?
Two. Yep.
So why would she get freaked out?
So that's what I'm saying. Why don't
Right.
you? Let's rewind this because
Right.
if you know that there's the steps of doing a deposit
Right.
or a transaction, right? Why not do it? Because
Why
see,
not
if she
do
did
it?
do it, there's a recording of her doing it. That
Exactly.
means that everything she did, she's knowledgeable about.
Right.
Now, if she does not look and does not take it, she's not knowledgeable about. So she could say Ryan Coogler's trying to run this to rob this bank, and she did not know, and she can use the label of ignorance for not knowing, and that's probably why she did not check. And that's all I'm saying is that this seems like more for clout
Right.
than
Yeah.
anything
But
else.
that's true
Because
because
that's crazy.
if you're a bank teller, you can like some stuff you can get, like they won't fire you if something happens and you're like, hey, I did some of this stuff, because they can claim, the bank can claim, hey, you should have, like in the movie Set It Off. The reason why she got fired is there's some things you are like you should do.
Yes.
Like there's some things you should, like, hey, if
Some
you don't,
things you're liable
yeah,
to do.
yeah,
It's
some things you're
mandatory.
The
yeah.
money's insured.
Yes.
So if she would have looked at the ID, if she would have did the deposit and did all that and gave the money, and they would have found out that they have been robbed, then those have serial numbers.
Yep.
They have a process for that.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. This was for clout, because she ignored all those steps just to say Ryan Coogler is trying to rob this bank. And you can say, like I say, you can be ignorant and not say you know who he was, but he had all the information there to show you who he was, and you ignored that.
So that's what. Wait, hold up,
I
because
don't think
I
she
didn't
knew
know
it was him, because she said that she didn't look at the date. So I don't think she knew. I think because when I heard the call,
He wrote
she
the-
didn't
he
call
wrote
him
the
by
name on the paper, though.
Okay, so she might have. But here's the thing, like, if it would have been fraud, it wasn't a robbery. There was no gun. There was no
Nothing.
holdup. If anything, it may have been fraud. But even if it had been, if you'd have done the necessary, like if you'd have done the necessary
Just check
steps,
the ID.
check all the stuff,
Yeah.
I hand you the 12 or whatever. If,
I mean, it was kind of
anything,
weird that
it could have
he
been
wrote
fraud.
it down.
But a whole
But
lot
other
of
than
But
that,
he didn't want. He didn't want to.
Celebrities do it all the
Yeah.
time because they don't want people to hear
Exactly.
the amount that they're withdrawing.
Exactly.
And from their
Oh, okay.
account, they don't want to make
in
you a target
Atlanta,
in the bank.
Atlanta, there's been like there's so many robberies. If you say you're in a bank and you're like, I'm Ryan Coogler, or somebody next to you is like, oh shoot, that's Ryan Coogler.
Yeah.
Hey, I know.
Ryan Coogler, we can
it's
follow him home right now.
Right.
It's
yeah.
it's a lick we can do in about 5
right now.
seconds
Yep.
and get us some cash
Right now.
Which is why
Because
he did it the way he
He
did.
just
Okay,
he
then
just
that makes
deposited.
sense.
He just withdraw $12,000 from the bank right now.
Exactly.
Because that's what he was. He was deposit. He was
you
withdrawing
don't-
$12,000.
You don't see celebrities out
yeah,
like that
he was
to get that
trying to
much.
pay his staff or something like
Yeah.
that, right? But my thing is that she did not do her job.
Yeah.
Period.
So she should get fired for that.
Definitely.
Not only
Wait,
that,
why is he paying
but
his
she
staff in
also,
cash?
but also,
That ain't our business.
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
it's-
like-
that's his prerogative.
but wait a minute,
Don't
that's
do
not
me.
even the issue.
Even if
though.
you was going to a call girl, who cares?
We gotta go to a strip club. That ain't got nothing to do with
Right,
me.
I
That's
get
his
that, but that
money.
just what
And
sparked my,
maybe
like, why?
just make it easier for his staff to pay them in cash. Maybe it's easier. I never
Maybe
know.
it was a bonus.
Yeah,
you
something
you
like
feel
that.
me?
But
Maybe it's to evade IRS.
I mean,
Who
whoever not our
cares?
business, nothing to do with me.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. It was his money.
we don't
You
know
feel
if
me?
it's all his staff legal. Maybe they not. You know,
It could have been his house. It could have been his gardener. You feel me? He could have owned somebody for cutting his
artist.
grass
He
or
could have
something.
been
I
absolutely
don't know. I'm just saying, it's his money.
I just think if she was doing her job like a
Wouldn't have
teller
got that
should,
far.
it would not have gotten that
Right.
far.
No.
Yeah,
I don't
she
know what was
definitely-
I don't know what was going through her mind. You know what I'm saying?
I'm telling
I
you, it's
just
for
don't-
clout, and I guarantee you,
I
it's for
guess.
clout. She probably going. I mean,
But why would you call the cops on someone for the clout? I don't get.
because
doesn't
you
make
could.
sense for me.
People do
'Cause now
stupid
you're gonna
stuff
be
to
in
become
papers
famous.
All the time.
Yeah. Now
Oh,
she's gonna have
they used to
her
always say
10
back in
minutes
the
of
day for
fame.
celebrities, all PR is good PR, whether it was good or bad.
Right.
So
somebody will take pity on her, or somebody would be like, hey, I feel bad that she was put in this situation, just like the girl with the
glue?
that put the
Memes.
glue on her head.
Yes.
She got money for the surgery.
Yep.
And that
Yeah.
poor thing looks
And then
ridiculous
she got
on
help
Instagram
other
now.
thing else. Is she on Instagram like that?
So because I wanted to follow Gorilla Glue Gate, I did follow her, and I haven't unfollowed her yet. But it's kind of watching her do her thing. Sometimes I'm just like, oh, you're trying so hard.
It doesn't
Stay
really matter
relevant.
though. People just go watch her because
Yeah.
they know her from
'Cause
being
people are
the
too lazy to
retarded
go
person
unfollow
to
her.
put Gorilla Glue in their
Yeah.
hair.
Right.
Think it was gonna be a thing. I mean, I'm pretty sure Red Solo Cup's got the Gorilla Glue Red Cup dude. You feel me? Like they probably got him. You know?
Well, just
Never know.
like the woman who was like, ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah.
She got money. She got off of drugs,
Hold on.
and she got ads.
Catch
she got
Me
deals.
Outside girl.
Listen.
Catch Me
Exactly.
Outside girl.
She-
Balling right now. Balling right now from straight ignorance.
Who
You
is
feel
that?
me?
Who is that? Catch me
Her-
outside.
I don't
The
even know. I
white,
just
the
know her
white
name,
girl.
Catch Me
She was like,
Outside.
"Catch me outside."
No, but
she was
what-
on. She was on.
She was on Dr.
She's
Phil
on
or
like
something.
Mario or
No,
something.
no, no.
Or
It was
Ricky
Dr.
Lakers.
Phil,
It was
but I'm
Dr.
saying, what
Phil.
is
Dr.
she
Phil,
doing?
yeah.
How is she making money?
She's
What
just
do you mean?
rapping.
She's
She's
rapping
getting
and being a
endorsements
celeb, being
and-
a
Just being
Being Instagram ignorant.
That made her famous.
Yeah.
And
Instagram
from that,
famous.
she just ran with it. And now she 18. She got OnlyFans. She on She doing it all. She's making it all every way
Well,
she
you know,
can.
she making it. She parlaying it to
But
do
that's
what she got to
saying.
do.
Bad PR is gonna be bad PR. You can know that girl, figure out who she is. She can start a TikTok, and people are just gonna watch it because that's the girl who called the police on Ryan Coogler.
Because there's a lot of people who ain't done nothing who got 50 million people following them on TikTok.
Man, social media has made a bunch of nobodies somebodies.
Yeah.
And it's nuts.
Yeah.
It's also made a lot of people.
hard out here
a
for a
lot of
pimp.
people with
Right.
skill, talent,
Listen,
money.
let me become
Yeah.
somebody
A
real
lot of
quick.
money.
A lot of money.
I mean, it's done
Me
some
$2.
good too for some mental health and also some bad.
Oh yeah,
I'm
no,
saying.
it's good things and
You
bad
know,
things come
yeah.
from
With
it.
these
I'm not
gas
knocking it.
prices, I'm about to start an OnlyFans.
Oh my God.
I'm telling y'all.
Gas prices, I'm finna start an OnlyFans. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? Them things is
They
going.
need to let us put gas prices on our HSA,
Yep.
FSA
Yeah.
card
True story.
because it's a health hazard when we go there every
True.
time.
Every time.
They need
Every
gas
story.
EBT cards. They just need.
It's a gas EBT,
They
that's
need the
hilarious.
gas EBT cards. Like, you feel me? You just like, hey man, it's hard out here for people. I need gas. You feel me? I just give you a
Honestly-
little card. You get $300 a month. Yeah, boom,
Right.
boom, boom,
Pat
boom, boom.
Williams said it best. You should not be going to the gas station
Making life
making
decisions.
some life decisions, okay? If you can't pay for the gas, honey, boo-boo, walk.
Hey, well, right now,
Catch a bus.
look, we'll get off topic. We should talk about that later. But you know, for real.
But,
Yeah, no, she do her job.
honestly, because gas is as high as it was, like, what was it? Was that was like
it was like
2000
2017.
27. It was
Okay, let's see. That was a brief moment in time.
no. I'm like talking about like 7 or
we're
8.
We're nowhere near stoppage.
Right.
Oh yeah, no.
We just cut off one of our biggest oil supplies.
Right.
We're nowhere near stoppage.
Right.
That thing might hit double digits. People are going to be working just to pay for gas.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, and so we think 10 City big now. You feel me? 10 City gonna have Acuras and Kia Optimas and all that parked outside of it. You feel
Right.
me? Because people are just gonna be paying for gas to go to work.
It's gonna be some Mercedes Benzes.
Not only that, this is where they need to let people work from home even more.
That's the
because
thing.
if gas gets any higher, I'm be like telling my boss, listen,
Right.
Well,
I'm gonna work from home.
that's the thing. Like, it's a lot more people who are like, I don't want. They talking about going back to work and all these places, and it's like a lot of people. I got to go in. I got to go in to
too.
work, and you got to go. Yeah.
I work
But
from
some
home.
people like, yeah, you're working from home, but
Still.
does it make it? It makes it more sense to work from home. Would you rather go back in?
No.
Exactly.
Ever.
Now you've
Yeah.
made it a routine. Why go back?
Yeah.
Ever.
First of all.
And you fit that in your
The
budget.
hardest-
And so
The hardest thing to do in reality in this past, the hardest thing to do was to go back to work for me. Like the years since that year and a half, 2 years that I had at home, I was getting paid to
Right.
be at home. I was doing a Zoom meeting every now and then. Like, when they were like, come back, and I had to that was the hardest thing for me to do, get used to like having that routine all over again and all
Right.
that. So that was hard. And then now you're telling me that it's becoming more expensive? Like, yeah, it's tough. Like I said,
A lot of companies save money.
OnlyFans, and I'm about to start Snapchat Premium. Paying for my gas. Y'all think it's a game? I'm saying.
But yeah, a lot of the companies. We could talk about it later because a lot of the companies were like, we got to pay for these leases.
Right.
Oh yeah.
We got the leases on these buildings, and we signed another 10-year lease in 2000. A lot of people signed.
It's gonna get
deals
heavy
in-
with that mask mandate lifting though.
Yeah.
Because everybody's not comfortable with it, so some people are not gonna want to do it because now it's more of a risk for them.
Yeah.
and something may end up coming back and another strand of it. So
Yeah.
Yeah, but
It's not over.
so what are we gonna do? Live our lives like this forever? Let's be real.
no, everybody's gonna work back from home
It'll turn to
and
the.
do what they
I
was
think
trying to do
it's
before
going to turn
quarantine.
endemic. I think they just going to categorize
Yeah.
it as an endemic,
Yeah.
like the flu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's gonna be something we have seasonal or do. I mean, people catch flu throughout the year, but then you have your seasonal year where it just gets very big, and
Yeah.
that's it. And that's what coronavirus is gonna become. We're not gonna stop living life. We've done it too long.
I
This is-
think we should change how we live life only because we used to do some really unsanitary stuff.
that's fair.
So,
Yeah.
when you think about it, some of the stuff we shouldn't have
I
been
don't
doing
know.
to begin
When people
with.
was living dirtier, they lived longer. I be looking at the Bible and stuff like that. Them cats was living for hundreds of years and stuff like that. You feel me? Like,
They
and
also
I'm
didn't
just
have
saying,
all these new strains of stuff out.
I know, but they was dirtier, baby. They wasn't taking baths and stuff like that. You feel me? Their immune
I mean, I
systems
think
must
we
have
can
been
live
strong.
without that.
You feel me? Now
I
we
was-
all our immune systems is weak.
I was reading that because it's getting warmer, diseases and
that could be
different
true.
things that were buried,
That's true.
like under all the snow and like permafrost like that, it's starting to rise up, and we're starting to see stuff that we haven't seen.
I heard that too.
And which is crazy to think that like you could see stuff because it's getting warmer, and like you could see different new strands of stuff or new diseases.
But that's the thing. Is it new or is it old? Because if it's
Well,
coming
that's
up, it's
fair.
like
That's
prehistoric.
fair. That's
These
fair.
are like prehistoric viruses
Yeah.
and stuff like that maybe mankind has never seen.
Yeah,
Or-
but
So
Or-
it's
or-
new to us.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, you're right. We haven't seen it, but it's been thousands of years. You never know what was happening
Exactly.
back then.
something and it killed enough. It killed
You
enough,
know?
but then it died
Right.
off.
Or
Yeah.
somebody dug up something they had no right digging up.
We always do that.
Yeah.
Open up something that they had no right.
Trying to
opening.
find new
to
oil
America.
source.
Yeah. Messing
Trying to
around,
find new oil source. And
Release
found
something in
Omnicron. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
messing around and hit a. Well, they're trying to resurrect a bunch of old animals.
For what?
so they can have a museum. That's it. That's all we
Because-
do it for, so we can have a
Wait,
museum.
wait.
We don't do it
Like
for
the
nothing else.
woolly mammoth.
No.
They're not gonna come back alive and start.
So we're just going to
walking.
ignore Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
The whole.
Yeah, we
all
are
of it.
because they're not gonna come back.
And then Chris
alive.
Pratt came back and did, the new one. So we're just going to pretend
Well,
like none of that
well,
existed
with-
and just
with-
do it anyways.
Like
Yeah.
with the woolly mammoth, they're trying to bring back the woolly mammoth through like elephants.
I can't deal.
So like you put it like you, but
There's
it's
so
gonna be
much better
it's gonna
things
be
that
a
they can do
changed
with this
animal.
money.
They're trying to bring back the dodo bird.
For
So
what?
they're trying to recreate these old birds,
These
extinct
extinct
animals
Yep. Yep. Because they said
that are
they-
extinct for a reason.
that was part of it is they're saying like some of them were extinct. Like the woolly mammoth was extinct, and it
Because
could have
of
been close
global
enough in the
warming
time.
and freezing.
Yeah, and also because people like they're a good source of meat. But the dodo bird killed we killed the dodo bird,
Like we kill everything else.
because it wasn't afraid of us. So they people just kill it.
Of course.
And so
Yeah.
now they said they're gonna try to bring. There's a couple more they're trying to bring back too, and it's just
So
like
they're gonna bring back a bunch of scary birds that ain't afraid of nobody, just running around attacking folks.
They
What
gonna
you think
take
gonna
over.
happen? We got guns now. You don't see a bunch of dodo birds dying everywhere.
So it's gonna
There's
go
bullet
extinct
holes
again.
everywhere.
yeah, it's gonna go
That
stick,
makes
it
sense.
basically yeah.
Dodo bird at your front door. You think just it's a dodo bird at my front door? Oh, no, you gonna bah, 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 bah,
No.
bah. You come get your dodo
They
bird.
only
think one
thought
I
through
s-
part of
Dodo?
that process.
Right.
It was basically science. When you get somebody give enough money and time to study, they'd be like, oh, we could because I think the saber-tooth tiger.
It's
Is
arrogant.
the
Scientists
other one-
have a God complex.
Yeah.
No, true
You
story.
know, and that's what it is. They think, oh, we can recreate it. Shut up and just make life better for us now. You
Yeah.
feel me? Like, stop trying to go back.
Maybe
in
they
time.
think that that's what they're doing.
The only recreation I want to see is hologram Tupac, hologram Michael Jackson.
That's hilarious.
That's the only recreation I want to see.
You said
Other than
hologram.
that,
That's hilarious.
That's it.
That's true
You feel
story.
me? But other than that, I
If
wanna
they
see
would've
you
had
bring
hologram-
the Dodo bird back.
They
Which-
had to
which-
have brought some type of significance to the world in order for them to be going through all that to try to bring them back.
Not necessarily.
Well, not
That makes
necessarily,
no-
no,
that's-
because
that's such a waste of
It's
time.
the ego
money.
of somebody
No.
saying
What?
that they were able to do it.
Okay.
That's all it is.
Not only that, but so as scientists, they have doing a lot of research.
Right.
And if someone who's like a uber millionaire say, "Hey, I want a woolly mammoth.
Yeah.
Can you make me a woolly mammoth?"
It's about money.
That's what it's about. Money.
Yeah.
That's
It's always
parlaying that into the whole vaccine thing. People like, oh, they made the vaccine too fast.
They
No,
got
they
paid
did
big
it. They
bucks
did
to
it
do it.
exactly.
They got
It's
paid
all
big
about
bucks to do
money.
it.
Yep.
If you can make a vaccine in 3
Yeah.
months,
That's
as-
why they
if you-
privatized
If
it.
you
Yep.
have the funding,
Yep.
and that's what they got. They got the money to do it, so they were able to do it quickly.
Quickly,
It's
yep.
all about the money.
And
That's
with-
funny because actually Jurassic World 2, I think that's what happened. They went to the little island. They got because that's the one with Chris Pratt too. Yeah, I think so. They went to the little island. They captured all the dinosaurs. They brought them back here, and they were letting all of the millionaires raffle them
Yep.
off before they
Yep.
freed them.
Right.
So it's just interesting
Yep.
that you said that. 'Cause
Yep.
like, no, that whole plot of that movie
Yep.
was to
So
bring
was-
them here to sell to the rich people.
So was Get Out. Get
Yeah,
Out. They
the
just
whole
took people. They took
Right, let's
black
go ahead and
people's
bring
bodies
them
and a bunch of rich
Yeah,
white
rally
folks
together.
like, I want that body. You feel me?
I just-
Mine is felling on me.
Here's
I
the-
need that melanin. You
So
feel me?
here's the
Like,
thing
my
with bringing
God.
back
That's what
old
Get Out
animals.
was.
Like
Well, yeah,
they bring
Get Out.
diseases and stuff too. Like
Yes.
even I remember I had a friend who had a cockatoo, the white ones with the
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it was a cockatoo. Yeah, and I think they're originally in Australia. So we had one, and I broke out, and he was like, and I was like, well, I don't know what's going on. He's like, we touched the bird, and there's a powder on them for the dust, and he's gotten this whole history. You must be allergic to whatever they carry. A lot of people are. It happens because they're an exotic bird. And so the issue with bringing back some of those things, whether they're dangerous or not, is that now we risk bringing back diseases, even bringing back some of those plants. Well, they must have. Cantor said, well, they must have something. Well, no, because they could also bring back diseases. They can also bring back, extinct bugs that now want to bite us, and it can do absolutely anything. We don't know. And the cockatoo isn't even extinct. And my hands swelled up like 3-4 times. And I was itching all night and everything else, simply because it's not from here.
Well, that's what they talked about with China when at the beginning of this, they talked about like their markets and all that type of stuff and the type of animals that they buy, sell, and trade on that market, the exotic exclusivity of them, and the type of the diseases that they hold. And at the same time, you have this overpopulated place where people are always sharing and recycling this same air, which makes it a cesspool for disease. And so
you're not getting rid of the waste properly.
Nope.
And you're just spraying the waste into one big pot or some drain or something like that, and it's not going nowhere. But also, as far as the money goes, governments will also participate if they see something work. So if they say, "Oh, you guys brought back this extinct animal," okay, what was the tech you used? What was the scientific stuff you used? And then the government's like, "Well, we'll give you a little bit of money. Come do that over here with something else."
We have to.
Yeah.
Wait. They don't always have to give you money. They can just take it.
Just take it because they have to have some type of control over it.
Right.
Because once they find out somebody's willy-nilly just doing this and they have no control over that, that doesn't work in the interest of the government. So they have to be like,
they say like security for national security, we're gonna take this.
Because now you can start making exotic animals for other countries, and they can be using them for carriers of mass destruction, bioweapons now, like you could be using animals to carry, diseases to spread. So I mean, they said bees are a good source of spreading biowarfare because the way that they populate. And so, I mean, I wouldn't be.
This was even a topic, and here we go. I'm for it.
The delineation was amazing.
Yeah.
How did we get here?
So let's talk about.
We started.
We started with
That
Ryan
was a rabbit
Coogler.
hole. That was a rabbit hole. That was a rabbit hole.
Media. That was
transition.
Robert, oh my God, Mr. Coogler, you are you're an inspiring creator.
Yeah,
we went down a rabbit hole just speaking your name. That's all happened. That's what happens.
Talking about celebrities, Britney Griner got herself
Who's that?
trapped.
She's a basketball player.
Player. She
Yeah,
was.
WNBA.
What happened is that she got caught by the Russian authorities.
Yeah.
She had some CBD oil, and I guess one of them or the cartridge had
THC in it.
THC or like cannabinoid or what?
Yeah.
I'm pronouncing it wrong, but it had some. I don't think it was the whole thing, but she had some, and so they detained her. Yeah.
What does she expect? It's Russia.
Thank
well,
you.
I mean, that's
it's not allowed. It's not allowed. It's not allowed.
It's Russia. You got caught over there. What you think we gonna do? We can't even help Ukraine right now.
Listen, that
you need to wait it out, Brittany.
But okay, wait a minute. So, so she got this happened all before the war happened.
Well, it was
I think she was trying to come home because of it.
I think she was trying.
Yeah, she was trying to come home.
Yeah, it was just right around the same time. But the issue people are talking about is that why was she over there anyway? And that begs the question of like, and then it goes to the question of women's sports.
Yes.
And how much they get paid.
Yeah.
And why they having to go travel across the
overseas.
world.
Because they don't make no money here.
They don't make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't respect
You
the
ain't Sue
forms
Bird or
here.
something.
And
like
here's
that,
the thing.
you
I want to say, yay, pay our women's athletes more, but at the same time, like, if you're not going to bring in the revenue, how are we supposed to pay you? And I do understand that we do need to pay them, but women's sports just do not attract as much of a crowd as men's sports.
Not even-
marketing
exactly.
for them.
And so
not anymore,
it's a
because at
tight
one
spot.
point when it first came out, WNBA was popping.
Right.
They had,
Seattle, for instance,
right.
I mean
Our
Cynthia
women's
Cooper,
sports,
Cheryl
right.
Swoops,
It's so much more than
Teresa
our Seahawks, but look at
Weatherspoon.
Seahawks.
I don't know about that.
No, it's not.
Yes, it does. The WNBA here.
The Storm is not more
Yes.
popular than the Seahawks.
No, they're not more popular, but they're winning. They're getting championships.
Yeah,
yeah.
but that
That's
doesn't
what I'm
make them
saying.
more
They
popular.
don't get the marketing. They don't
Oh, yeah.
get
Oh, yeah.
all of
That's-
that.
yeah.
Right.
But
Because
if they
the
had all of
WNBA
that
doesn't-
stuff like the
because
Seahawks,
the WNBA doesn't get that
because
marketing.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's a back burner
right,
to
not
the
the
NBA.
WNBA, but the
It's-
NBA does.
Because
No,
the back burner
but-
to the NBA, it was birthed by the NBA.
NFL
Yeah.
does.
Right.
But
Because there's no
No,
women
because
playing.
it's a
There's no
men-
women
it's a
playing
men's
professional
sport.
football. I guarantee
Right.
you, if there's women playing professional football on TV, we would all be watching. I don't know about y'all, but I would be. I would be watching.
But-
because guess
They
what?
do
A lot
have
of
some of
women.
that here,
Hold on,
like
most
the
women
semi-clubs.
watch football only because they either seen a guy that they thought was attractive on that they thought was attractive on an interview. Or they like watching the guys run around in their tight uniforms. Most women watch football for that. That's it. So,
or with their partners. Listen,
but then you become vested
Right.
by what you see, and it's not the skill of football. It's what it looks like. It's the aesthetics of it.
They don't have that same support for women's sports.
Right,
No.
right,
Nah,
right.
nah, and
Because they're all most of them are lesbians, and
the-
so guys are sitting back. I'm being
true.
real. No. Hold on. Time out.
Not that it's a bad thing, but no,
Hold on,
like-
time out. I'm being real.
That's
Most
true.
guys aren't sitting back saying, "Oh my God, I want to bang Britney Griner." No, you're not sitting back saying it. It
but-
doesn't look sexy when she plays basketball. Now, get me
There are some
wrong.
good-looking
With
ones.
Cynthia Cooper and Cheryl Swoosh should come out there with them big old lips, put all that red lipstick on there. You just be like, "Oh, look at Cheryl Swoosh. That girl out there fine playing basketball."
But
Tiffany Thompson, like those
here's the
girls
thing,
out there,
like
they
with
actually,
women's sports, they had lingerie football,
yeah.
and people collectively, women and men, still didn't watch it.
No.
Because it wasn't supposed to be
It wasn't
like
taking
it wasn't
it
like
seriously.
Yeah, it wasn't taken
wasn't
seriously. Yeah,
Yeah, it's not like professional,
Yeah.
like semi-pro, like lingerie football. Yeah, people watched it for the aesthetic of it.
The
Sex
first
still
couple
sells.
games.
yeah.
But it's not, but still, if it was like sexy, if it was flag football instead of tackling and all that type of stuff, it might be more of appealing to people for it to watch. Like, it has to be appealing to the guy. You don't want to see
That'd
no
be more
beautiful chick
boring.
get hurt, knocked out. You feel
Right.
me?
Sports is more, and though I understand that a lot of women do watch it. Like I said, I do watch football. I watched it with my father growing up. I watch it with my boyfriend now. You know what I'm saying? So I do understand that a lot of women do watch it, especially more recently. However, sports is targeted for men.
Yeah.
And so y'all like to watch each other play because of the competitive nature, because of the camaraderie, because of all the stuff that goes with it, reliving your glory days, whatever the case.
Yeah.
Therefore, male sports make more money. And so though I understand that we do need to pay our women more, I mean, if they're able to do it over there, we could probably pay them more here, but they're never going to make as much as the men until they can bring in as much as male sports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that, like I said, whether it's a marketing issue or whatever the case, until they're able to at least bring in that much,
It's a talent.
we can't afford to do it.
A
talent.
lot of
No,
them
that
are.
too.
A lot of
That
them
too.
are. A lot of
Women's-
them are more athletic. Are better athletes than the men too.
Yeah.
Well,
Some of 'em.
Yeah,
well,
when you watch
well,
women,
Yeah, they're out
Okay,
here winning
when Britney
championships.
Griner 360 windmills and goes between her legs and dunk it, then you can tell me that, okay? But they're not. That's why they're not a draw. Because
How
see,
do
the
you
thing,
know she hasn't done it yet? How do you watch?
No, but she dunks in the game.
No, she
Like,
dunks,
she
but it's like
dunks.
two hands. I followed Britney Griner when she was in high school. I watched her play when she was in high school because she was a female dunking in high school.
Right.
Like, I know exactly who she is. I watch female basketball, but that's because I play basketball. But everybody else is not going to watch it. I know. I grew up watching the WNBA. I watched the WNBA first season. I remember when the Comets were winning it every year.
Yeah.
New York Liberty and Rebecca Lobo. You feel me? Teresa Webb. I knew all that. I watched it. I was a fan of it because I'm a fan of the game. But that doesn't mean everybody else is.
Yeah.
And so that's the problem. Everybody's a fan of the NBA because of what they're able to do. You ain't seen John Morant play, then you have no idea. You ain't seen LeBron play, you have no idea. And then when you put that and compare it to what you see on the WNBA, it's not comparable. So people see that and they see this and say, I'd rather watch this. And if this is not on, I'd rather watch College Boys than watch this. And it's not a knock to them. But one thing that women have been able to do is the talent is starting to evolve. So I do believe one day that they'll be able to become supreme athletes to where they are a draw for us to say, we can watch this just like we can watch them over here. But they got a ways to go. because the NBA's been around for way longer than the WNBA. They had their bumps and bruises too. We watch the games live now. They used to be
on,
recorded.
they used to be on tape delay.
You know, and so it's a fight. It's a grind. And the thing is we can't complain that you ain't in a position when you ain't put the fight in to do the same things. I tell people all the time when it comes to Christianity, I'm saying, you know, everybody want to talk about, you know, their lives and everything. If you ain't took the bumps and bruises that Jesus literally took, you know, in your life, you ain't got nothing to complain about. Because that's what it's all about. So you have to put in the work. You have to put in the grind to get to where you want to get. If you don't get there, then you need to take kibbles and bits until you get there.
Okay, preacher Mark.
No, it's real
All
shit.
right.
No, it's real
Okay.
shit.
Right. Is it not taking anything away from? Because I know, like I said, there are some women who are extremely talented, but we're talking on an overall and in general, not per.
Right,
and I
right.
think sometimes we focus so much on so and so is so much better than so and so, but we're talking about an overall in general. An overall in general, so and so being better than so and so isn't enough to say, well, we're going to now just because this one female can do
Yeah.
this better than this one male, we're going to pump all this money. Not like he said yet. If it's
Yeah.
not there yet,
It's
it's
not
not there
impossible.
yet.
It's not
Yeah.
impossible.
Right.
They have the opportunity because that's what the WNBA was created for. It was the platform for women to be able to
Right.
display their talent. Now, the way the NBA is played today isn't the same way it was played in the 90s and isn't the same way it was played in the 80s. The talent evolved and it became a better product to be able to put out there. So these women have not been playing professional basketball since the early 90s. That's when it started.
Yeah.
You gotta give it time to grow.
in the early mid 90s is when it started. So you've had maybe 20 years to put in the work. There's still not a lot of time.
Right.
When the people that you necessarily are competing with been around for 75 years. You know, and so
That's fair enough.
and that's what it is. So yeah, they're gonna have to do the work. You know, they're going to have to play overseas. They're going to have to play Team USA. They're going to have to do all those things because that's what the men are doing too. Because everybody ain't playing in the league. They're playing over there in China. They're playing in Russia. They're playing in Turkey. They're playing in Yugoslavia. Lonzo Ball right now, or LaMelo Ball right now, ain't go to college. He dropped out of high school.
Yeah, he went to
He played in
Australia.
Australia somewhere.
Yeah,
And now
I think
he got rookie of the year. He rookie of the year.
Well, I
Would have
think
been
it's,
better off staying in that.
yeah. I think it's crazy though that they have to, like, even if it's not popular here, that they're still having to make ends meet by going other places. I think I saw a stat that said like,
But it wasn't even popular here. They were
No, that's what I'm
they
saying.
were
That's
playing
the thing.
overseas before it was even popular
no,
here.
that's not the thing. Like they get paid more to go everywhere else.
Yeah, that's true.
And then here now they're making, what are they, like, what somebody put it, like, for 3-4 months of work, for 5 months of work, they get paid like 50, 60K. And I'm like, you guys don't have the same TV contracts.
Nope.
The same
They don't have the same appeal or
the
draw.
same
No.
yeah, the
You don't
same
get the same
It is-
endorsements.
it
the
is
same
what it is.
endorsements.
Yeah.
Endorsements are the big part because
Yeah.
if you're
Well, the TV contracts are the big part.
yeah.
Because they feel like if they feel like they can put you in a prime slot,
Yeah.
they're going to
Yeah.
pay for
Yeah.
people to watch your games. They're going to pay for people want to hear from you. The TV stations are not paying the WNBA
That's
right now
true.
because they're not a draw like
Yeah.
that. They're a draw enough for their local TV stations to be able to, and that's where they're going to get their revenue in their local markets right now. But they're not an international draw, and it's not a knock against the WNBA. You're a baby still.
Yeah.
You know, in the world of sports, you're still a baby. You know, we don't know how many leagues have started. There's football leagues that have started up and been 1 year.
Yeah, and been done.
And been gone.
They're trying to bring both of the other ones back again.
But you guys been around for 20 years without cancellation. That's an accomplishment. But you still have a ways to go. And before there was a WNBA, there was a Team USA, Women's Team USA. There was a Women's Team Australia. They were playing overseas. A lot of these women were making their money overseas playing basketball before WNBA existed. So overseas is still going to be a bigger draw because it's always been there for you. And so, don't bite the hand that feeds you. Brittany, you over there, and we talked about this with the Olympics. You know, you go certain places, you got to better.
Yeah.
You seen the squirrel. You seen what happened to her. She can take her meds.
Yep.
Guess
That's
what?
true.
I can't do this because I need some.
Simone Biles.
Simone Biles.
Oh, okay.
Simone Biles.
Yeah.
They used to call her the squirrel. That's how I remember.
Oh, okay.
When she was young.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, she couldn't take her
meds,
medication
yeah.
for her head. Yeah, I ain't
She had to
going.
pull out,
And you see old girl with the heart arrhythmia, Russia.
Yeah.
You feel me? Ain't happening. So you already know that, and that's the problem with some of these people. You took the chances that you shouldn't have had to take.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, or double check before going to not
You took
have
the
to
chances
be in
you
this
shouldn't.
situation.
But she was already in Russia. So put it this way: what if you got caught before you got to the airport?
That's the thing.
Right.
You.
That's my point.
You that might have saved you because
Yeah.
you may have had more on you.
Right.
And so the decisions that you make, especially when you're a foreigner somewhere else, are very important.
Yep.
Yeah.
And on America, you might have could have got away with that.
Right.
Right.
Somewhere else, they way stricter.
Yeah.
They ain't legalizing pot shops everywhere.
No, they not.
You
And
know?
If she was in Korea, she'd been even worse.
it would have been
situation.
if she, anywhere near. Yeah, she would have been anywhere.
She probably wouldn't have been able to send an SOS
Nope.
note.
They'd be like, "Do you have a black? Do you have a black?
Well, it's
tall
even
black
worse
woman?"
right now in
Like,
Russia with what's going on.
Right.
So yeah,
Well, they'll at least give you the
policies-
courtesy if you're not a soldier or you're not out there fighting. They'll at least give you the courtesy to reach out.
Yeah, but
But
since
you ain't going home.
exactly.
Right.
And since now everything that's going on, they don't like us.
No.
right.
And,
That's what I'm saying.
Like you gonna get. And
That's negotiating with them to get somebody back.
exactly, and we're not gonna negotiate
Nope.
with them to
Nope.
get her
because
back.
America will view them
They-
as a
they
terrorist.
wouldn't
we don't negotiate with
negotiate.
terrorists.
Biden might negotiate for Obama, but if it was anybody else,
Mm-hmm.
they ain't for no black person.
No, because we already teeter-tottering with Russia. We're not going. That's not a hill to die on.
No.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's not.
They gonna let
I
her.
mean,
they
Not
gonna
when she
let
was
her-
out of pocket. You shouldn't
Not
have had in the first
exactly,
place.
you
You know it's
know?
not legal here
'Cause
anyway.
They just
I mean,
said on.
what
They
do
just
you
said
guys
on the
even
news.
know what the
They just said on the news.
I don't know what
they
the rules
just
are now.
said any Americans do not go to Russia.
Exactly.
Especially
And then here
if
she
you
is,
want to feel like you're
catching
doing
flights.
something and you want to help Ukrainians,
Yeah.
do not go. If Russians catch you, they will not treat you like Americans. They will treat you as mercenaries.
as war, and they can treat
So
you.
here she
They
goes,
even told
gets on a
Americans
plane.
in Russia to leave.
She got lucky.
Yep, they
She
were
got
telling-
lucky.
They
They've been
been
telling
Do
her-
you know what
telling
her
them to
punishment was?
Oh, she's in prison
she's
right
still
now.
there.
she barely gets a call.
Yeah.
Detained.
So what is her amount of time for being detained?
Well, we don't know.
We don't know Russian
we ain't,
law.
We don't Russian law. Yeah.
Well, I
that's-
mean, y'all would have
that's what
thought that
happened.
y'all
That's
would have
what-
known.
no,
I
that's
didn't
what
hear
people-
nothing
no,
about
but
what
that's
her
I'm saying.
punishment
That's
was.
what
Yeah, I
people
don't
don't
know.
understand is when you go to these other countries, yeah, we don't know what's going to happen to you. Like we talking about the Balls brothers, right? Leangelo got caught stealing in China.
Yep.
You know, they were going to keep him. Donald Trump was probably the only thing he probably did to me that I thought was worth something. Negotiated to get the boy back. You know, but
It takes
but
higher.
it takes favors. It takes all the. Sometimes America's not willing to do that, and
Right.
in the time that we are now,
Yeah.
that's like almost negotiating with a terrorist, and that's
Right.
one thing
That's
America
what
does
it's
not do.
saying.
Nope.
So whatever has to go, and I'm pretty sure there's people in America that don't know what the law of is Russia. That's like international law.
Right.
That's the U.S. District.
Right, but
the
you
US
would have
attorney
thought
knows that. That's
that since she got a call to call back home, that she would have mentioned something.
They probably
to-
knew who she was because she probably was over there playing basketball overseas, and they said, because you Britney Griner, we gonna give you this one favor.
Yeah.
Bop, you played for Team Russia, whatever. Bop, there you go. That's it. You feel me?
but
Tell
we're
them
not,
you over
we're
mean,
there.
not
that's
going.
the least.
We're not going to release you.
We ain't gonna release you.
We're not going to release you. We're
No.
not. You probably won't get out.
Nope.
You're not going. She's not going to get out during the whole Ukraine.
No.
And they because they
that
were
can
telling
go, that can
they-
go on
So she
for a
can
while.
call
They're
Russia
going for a
home
while, yeah,
now.
because they were
For
going
now.
for a
Because
while.
we don't know
They-
what the penalty is for her having THC over there.
Exactly.
She better
Right.
hope they got basketballs in the prison.
Oh,
and
no.
also because she's not a foreign. I mean, she's not a national.
Nope.
Right.
The
She's
law
on a
can
work
be
visa.
stricter. Yeah,
Yeah.
the law
Yeah.
can be stricter because you should have known the laws before you stepped on our soil.
I mean, they
Right.
could deport her, but with the war going
They're
on,
not
they're
going to
not
take
going to
that
do
chance.
that.
Nope,
She's-
they're not going to
she's-
do it.
She's more
She's
valuable.
more valuable.
Exactly.
She's more valuable as a
Exactly.
prisoner than if they let her go.
Exactly.
Yep.
You know, even if the Russian populace was to be like, okay, send
No.
her back home,
No,
the
we got an
government, the
American.
government's not going to do it.
Yeah, we got an
We
American.
done sanctioned them up the yin yang.
Yeah.
They're not gonna help.
Yep.
There's not no, they're not gonna help. So to say long and short of the story, she knew what the laws were.
I know. I feel bad.
And if she
bad.
didn't, she should have looked into him before catching flights.
Yeah, not even that, but THC. It's only. Yeah, THC is not
course.
even everywhere in America yet.
Right.
So you should just be
Yeah.
careful, no
Exactly.
matter what where you
People
go.
fly domestic and still scared about carrying terrorism. You talking about going to another country? You think it's cool? Like,
Right.
you know, feel me? We barely hopping on planes, driving other places with it on us, and you hopping going to Russia.
A
you
whole
thinking,
new country.
You know what I'm saying? I already knew we was beefing,
Right.
Because I mean, if Trump was in office, I might say you was cool. You
Right.
feel me? You might have been cool.
We might
Trump
coulda
would have
got you
been
home.
said something,
yeah.
got you out, but he gone. And as soon as that power transfer happened, we was beefing. That's just, Russia was beefing with USA, and there was nothing that she could do.
Right.
Yeah.
So she
We're
should have
not
came
friends with-
home as soon
we're
as the
not-
power changed.
Putin's friend ain't in power no more.
No, he ain't. Nah, we ain't. Yeah.
So that wasn't
His
gonna
boy
happen.
is not
Yeah.
in power.
Yeah.
Trump be saying some crazy stuff in his speeches.
I mean, we already know.
He's
this.
still doing speeches.
He's
Yes,
still doing
he's still
doing
doing
speeches
speeches.
for
I
his
don't think I've
donors.
heard. Wait.
I don't pay
But
attention to him no more.
He be like, well,
But I
but-
should because he's hella funny,
when he said
man.
Russia. Oh,
He's
that was a
hella
good
funny.
move by
Yeah.
Russia.
Yeah, he
He's
said
an
he said
idiot.
Russia.
I'm like,
He be
wow.
having
He
dying,
is,
bro.
it's not even funny because he's
He's not
intelligent
even-
or smart.
he's
No,
not
his
He's just a
funny is
complete
it's hella-
clown.
It's
Yeah.
funny.
He's
He
just
said
an
he said
idiot.
Russia was
not
good,
even
smart.
funny.
He said Russia was
He
smart
should
to
start.
do
He
it.
should be a stand-up comedian.
No,
I think he really
Don't
should.
encourage that.
What are you talking about?
Don't
If he
encourage
really
that,
just
man.
said the
Not
stuff that he
funny.
normally said,
He's not
I
funny.
would be wrong. Man, some of the stuff he be saying be having me
No.
dying. 'Cause I don't believe that somebody really like that really be saying that, but he do be saying
Well,
it.
that's
It's
why
so
that's why they
funny.
try to keep him.
That's why they love him.
They try to keep him on what they wrote, like the topics what they wrote.
Oh, then you can't do that to
his
Trump.
His gold comes on what he says off the cuff.
Yeah.
He's always off the cuff, and when he's
He
like
freestyle like
he's
a
like
mother.
yeah.
He stay
When,
freestyling.
when people are like, oh, his speech was decent when he did like the State of the Union
'Cause it was written.
they were like literally like, hey, this isn't official. Everybody's in here. You cannot.
Right.
You can't go off script.
You can't go off script.
No
and so he
freestyling
like
tonight.
that's why it was like you're like
gonna do what
this
the
ain't
fuck he
Trump.
wanna do.
But
That's
when
what
he
he's
starts
about
to
to do.
freestyle,
This is how you know when he's freestyling. When he's doing this.
Yep.
And this, that's when he starts freestyling. You feel me?
Those are his
Hey,
rapper
he
hands.
freestyling
That's his-
like,
that's
hey,
morning
that
hands.
is that's his rapper.
Those are
That's
his
his little
rapper
soldier
hands.
boy.
That's his-
Soldier boy, I'm in his head.
That's his,
oh my
that's his
God.
Craig Mack. But this is
You
so
watch Trump obviously way too much. For
He's
you to
hilarious.
But
I'm
notice that.
I'm gonna tell you this one thing right now. I knew when they first started, and I seen the whole. I knew. I was like, "There's no way Hillary's winning. He's finna win." And people were like, "Are you gonna vote for Trump?" I said, "No, I'm not gonna vote for Trump." But I'm gonna tell you one thing. He's so hilarious that there's going to be people that are going to vote for him just because he said things that nobody else would say. I don't care what nobody. We all want people that are in that office that are like real people. That's why we loved Obama, because we felt like he was a real person.
Right.
You didn't feel like he talked to you like a politician all the time. Donald Trump won because people didn't feel like he talked to him like a politician. He was real, and I tell people all the time, I don't think that
Real
those were always his.
bullshit.
I don't think those were always his real thoughts. You know, I do believe that he was so smart because he's marketing. He's a marketing genius. He was so smart that he knew who to target. He knew who the forgotten people of America was. And
Or
that's
maybe
why,
he didn't know because he's an idiot.
what are you
There's
talking about?
somebody
We're
behind
talking
him
about
that
one of the
knew.
well-dressed
'Cause he's
businessmen
not.
talking to the pits of white America. He knew exactly what he was doing. He's not from
Right,
that
he's a
area of
businessman.
America.
Right, he's
No,
a
but
businessman.
I
not
think
a
I think well, I
politician.
think you could be a good marketer. I think there was definitely cracks in
Yeah.
his armor. Good marketer, definitely. I know what I should say here. What I should say here, what notes I can hit, and how can we market this?
He knew his
And-
audience.
Yeah,
was
he
talking
knew
about
his
it.
audience. Yeah,
He
Whether
go
he
to,
believed
he
what
go
he said or
to, he
not.
go to factory towns and talk about. He go to factory towns talking about how he will bring
He bringing
companies
coal-
back
bringing
from
coal
America,
back, yeah.
and he would put sanctions on companies that resourced out overseas because these people work at plants here. So now they're going to vote for him because they think that the other people
Yeah.
are for
Yeah.
all this outsourcing to other countries.
Yeah.
So that's all it is. He goes to racist America and he says the most racist
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
You feel me? And he may not believe all of it. I think he's a bit of it, but not all of it. And guess what? They all riled up. So when January 6th happened, that's why you see that.
Well,
and guess what? He's sitting at home. He riled all them people up to go do
Yeah.
all that, and he's sitting at home because he don't believe it. He know that wasn't right. He know you
Yeah.
ain't supposed to do any of that.
Yep.
But he know he can get other people to do it.
And he had a bullhorn in Fox News.
Yep.
And he
Exactly.
had a bullhorn in Fox News because Fox News at the beginning of his run for presidency, they were all saying he was dumb.
Yep.
Yeah.
They were all saying he was stupid. They were all saying he was uncouth. He got
these black
things.
book. He got black book. He got black book on everybody.
But then when he started to win more and more states in the primary, and people started to hear, because like he was just saying, you make somebody the enemy, they may not be the enemy, but if you made them enemy, if you say to somebody in rural up north Washington here in this state, them people in Seattle, they gonna take away your this and do all these things and take away your this.
Pot shops here, and
I'm gonna bring conservative values. I'm gonna bring America back. Vote for me. Now all of a sudden, people are like, them people in Seattle are doing horrible stuff.
Right.
And the capital ain't even Seattle; it's in Olympia.
Right.
But at the same time, you shape it like that, and then Fox News says, yada, this happened in Seattle, yada, that happened in Seattle. All these things, these big cities taking away these jobs and all these things. It's like, wait, hold on.
Seattle took over blocks.
But the amazing thing to me, okay, all of this stuff, yeah. The amazing thing to me, we have an entire internet that has all this information that all you got to do is Google it and see that stuff ain't true. And no, wait, hold up. We have all of this social media. We have everything. And you have a snake oil salesman on TV telling you ABCXYZ, and you just swallow it hook, line, and sinker.
Because that's the original form of communication.
To
Internet.
me, it just doesn't.
People like
doesn't
being
jive.
spoon-fed.
Exactly.
And so despite how easily I can get to information, if you're going to give it to me,
Right.
then I would rather take it. A lot of us can cook at home, but I would still rather go out. You know what I'm saying? So then that's the unfortunate
I'm just
thing.
too skeptic.
Yeah,
If
There's that,
if
right?
You tell me
But
it's
a lot of
snowing
people
outside, I'm
would
gonna
rather
go
scroll.
Right,
Even knowing that
right.
all the information is there,
Yeah.
most people won't even Google. They'll scroll on their Instagram.
That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
And then
And
catch whatever little
whatever-
tidbits they can
Right.
on
whatever
your
they
Explore
see.
page, and now all of a sudden it's law when you
Yeah.
really could have just looked it up and read something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But people like to be spoon-fed information. Nobody wants to
lazy.
do
Just let
research
just be
anymore.
what it is.
Just like with the
lazy.
oil, a lot of people
Yeah.
are like, why did they cancel the Keystone XL pipeline? We could have got all that oil.
No,
we
we
could have got all the thing.
No.
What happened?
Exactly.
Right.
No, that's exactly the thing, and that's like what you're talking about. Is that people will see that one post and say, "Oh, we need to get up there and get our oil back, and we need to stop getting oil."
It ain't all oil.
But then they don't know, and they will not listen to
Right.
the fact that it wasn't oil to be used like that.
Exactly.
It wasn't that there was a lot of points that it wasn't for, and it would not have saved us right now.
No.
Right.
And so it's just like the information is there. The information was there before, but they don't want to. If you
you're
make
not
it
gonna
sound good, if you make it sound fly to them, you make it sound good.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'll get another contract if you bring these jobs back to America. Shoot, I'm gonna vote for you, no matter what.
Right.
The
Yeah,
good book
no.
says test the spirits, and in this situation, the spirits is information, and sometimes you can't just get information
It
from
also
somebody
says
and
to
hold
study
it.
and show yourself approved, and ain't nobody studying.
No,
Right,
I'm saying.
right.
So
Agree.
you get the information, and nobody does any research to see if this information
Yeah.
is valid or not. You just take it for what it is. I mean, we're talking about a classic liar. He gets telling anybody anything,
Listen.
and everybody believes everything that he says.
Right.
But he's telling this person this over here, and he's turning around and telling this person this over here, and you guys' theologies actually clash.
Yep.
But
Right.
because he's saying it, you know what I'm saying, and nobody else is saying it.
Right.
That's the problem. Nobody else is saying it.
Yeah.
And he knows that. But I honestly do believe, and this is one thing I do believe, I think he has bribes on everybody.
Oh,
I
probably
think he
has all
got
types of
bribes.
hilarious.
Because one thing I couldn't get like when it started getting really crazy, no, for real, when it started getting really crazy, I'm like, why are people still
Yes.
on the boat? Like,
Yeah.
and it's like, but there has to be a point to where it's like, you know what? Especially politicians, because we know every politician is about their reputation. And the reputation is being soiled, and you guys are still on a boat. Like, why are you still on a boat? What's going on?
I think it's some people.
You got Black Book on there.
I think it's some people that there's enough on them that
Yes.
they
Ruin
won't. Yeah, that ruin them. And,
Ruin them.
And also, it doesn't make it real expedient for you to go against, because then
we're talking about
If you
somebody-
notice the people who has switched over, how they've gotten blackballed and
Yeah, but-
how catastrophic it's been for them.
Yeah.
But we're talking about a person who used to fund campaigns.
yeah, that's
End
true.
up running his own campaign.
That's true.
So
too.
we have no idea what he knows.
And it-
because he's been a part of super PACs, he's been a part of so many other campaign funding, but besides his own for decades. We're in 2020 now. He's been doing this since the 80s.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
for 40 years.
He got a lot of people in his
He,
back
it's a
pocket.
lot of
Right.
people, well, and it's a lot of people you could have information on, even if it's
Yeah.
information on their kid,
Yeah.
or information on their
How you think
auntie.
he got Joe Biden information, son, information, all this, Hillary, all this information that he gets so easy.
Yeah,
But at the same time, he used to talk to these people. He
yeah.
had personal relationships with these people,
Yep.
business meetings with these people.
and you don't want to cross him because one thing
Can't.
is
You can't cross
he's
him.
got a bigger bully pulpit than you do.
Yes.
and you can
He's
You
got the air of so those people.
exactly.
he got
and if you
toothless white,
say
he got toothless white Americans that believe in their Second Amendment.
Well,
That's what he got.
exactly,
You feel me? They don't give up
and they'll
nothing.
be like, they don't care if they get in trouble for emailing you. I'm gonna kill you. And these people are like, yo, I ain't really had no death threats. Like, I don't want the smoke, even if the smoke is not really real. You're like, he didn't really do nothing. That was just some tour. I'll just say that's just some tourists. It was just a tourist thing on January 6th. It wasn't really a insurrection. It wasn't that at all because I don't want no smoke.
Yeah.
No, they're just a gang.
Yeah.
He's the first gang to go into the White House. Like Trump is a gang now. You know what I'm saying? People going to jail for him.
Yeah.
People are going to jail for him. Like literally, there's people being prosecuted for January 6th right now and going to jail
Because
for
they
him.
believed what he said.
And they're not
Yep.
turning. No, they're not turning.
They're not turning.
They're going to jail and they're just not.
Oh,
We all seen First 48.
They ain't
We
turning,
know how
but they
many
might
of-
get
we know
turned
how-
in
yeah.
jail.
We know how many of our own turn. We know how many of our own turn in the First 48.
For a Big
They be
Mac.
like, hey, yeah.
For a
Like,
Big Mac,
hey,
for a Big Mac and
just
a
tell us
large
what
fry.
happened just tell us what happened with
And how
Junebug
they
and
get
them. Be
that
like,
in jail,
how
you never know.
They start telling fast. They start telling fast, and then they tell you at the end, this is how much he got because he cooperated. You feel me? Like they tell you at the end. Everybody with Trump, they just like hang us because we don't. You feel me? We believe in this. We will die for this.
Yeah.
They worse than the Allah folks. They worse than the people who was doing the suicide bombings.
Yeah.
They worse than that.
Because they know somebody
They kill people.
back home.
They got blood on their hands. There's Capitol police officers that died.
Mm-hmm.
They did all that in the name of Trump.
Yeah.
So you tell me that ain't a gang?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Because I see Crips and Bloods doing less than that.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying? Nipsey got killed. You didn't see them rushing the marathon.
No,
in the
you know, I
building.
know,
You feel
exactly.
me? Nah.
Exactly.
Come on, man.
But we're going to get out of here. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to Black Pew Podcast. Once again, like, share, subscribe on the video for us. Help us out. Share it to your friends. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.